Oh!
Yeah!
If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. While it may not look like a tight space on camera, flying a giant scale anything at the Flying Eagles RC Club can be incredibly intimidating. The flying site is essentially a 400 by 200 foot area plopped in the middle of 100 foot tall trees on all sides with a 290 by 29 foot textile runway in the middle of all that. One approach end has shorter trees, while the other end has a textbook 100 foot tall obstacle near the threshold of the runway. Personal limitations are what really matter in aviation, because ultimately it's at the pilot's discretion whether a space is flyable to them.
Oh! Backside the power curve there.
So, in an effort to prove mind over matter, I chose to step out of my comfort zone and took the P-47 to a space where the numbers said it would be possible, despite my inner self saying the space guaranteed massive pucker factor. Generally, in full-scale aviation, you may be able to land at a strip, but the real risk comes from not being able to climb out and clear the trees at the end of the runway. Some accidents, unfortunately, are written in blood, meaning folks don't make the necessary performance calculations before departing, or simply decide to state,
"You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it."
That's just a little scary. Little. Oh boy. Wow. Okay, things we are not doing again.
The saving grace in the world of RC is that we have airplanes with gobs of excess thrust, so usually the opposite is true and we can easily clear the trees on takeoff. In other words, a plane may be able to take off vertically through the trees, but not land within them, so taking that action was a little intimidating for sure with this plane. Before going to the Flying Eagles to test the capabilities of the plane, we first went to another field nearby where there were less obstacles so I could build up a bit of confidence. As expected, this bird had no issues flying in the moderate winds and doing simulated confined area approaches. We did get to snag some really cool shots with it while we were there. Despite the plane being electric, sorry gasser boys, the slow motion shots made it sound like the full-scale bird when slowed down. This helped me build up my confidence with the plane, enough to the point where I was comfortable going to the tighter flying space that was the Flying Eagles.
Hey Zach, what's the flight plan today?
People have been suggesting maybe not doing this, so maybe this is dumb, but really cramped field, both sides right to left, trees. The runway's long and this thing gets slower than you'd think, so we're gonna try it.
As you can probably tell, my nerves were a little heightened considering multiple people had told me things such as, "It's not worth the risk," inciting how the planes cost almost as much as a budget car. Well, they weren't wrong about the cost part, but ultimately I knew where my personal limitations lie and built my confidence up over time, flying the plane at larger fields first to learn what she was capable of, so it was now or never. Was it all in my head?
Expect some bouncers.
I started off by departing towards the more open side of the field to the north and planned to do my first approach from there as well.
All of those nerves for that? Are you kidding me?
Then, I worked my way up to the approach on the south end with the bigger obstacles. Phew. Well, that definitely was all in my head, but I opted to use the grass first since I was initially worried about potentially overrunning the runway on the hard surface with less friction. It was more than doable to stop in the grass. This was only making me enjoy this plane more and more, but rip Top Flight and Hobbyco. Now that the mind over body session was over, it was time to begin trying the hard surface, and I was once again amazed with how well this bird did in such a confined area.
Great decision making, young man.
Oh my god.
The main lesson I hope folks take away from this is that every once in a while, it's good to step outside your comfort zone and fly outside the box to grow your abilities as a pilot. I definitely had fun and learned a lot, and hope that others will try pushing themselves as well. Speaking of stepping outside your comfort zone, I recently acquired a Goblin 380, a 3D RC heli. I've always been into helicopters since I started into this hobby thanks to Mr. Dave Herbert over at Night Flyer, and hadn't owned one yet since moving out east here. It was time to get back on the saddle and have some fun.
Staring at your beat receipts. And now you pop online, sending little smiles. Tell me about your day like I give a shit. Then you try to spice it up, send the carrot with a heart. But I keep thinking, boy, what the I got better things to do. That ain't here for you. I got better things to do. Yeah. Got a little upset there, huh? Really, I don't care, but then you host.
I'm definitely still a long way from making any heads turn with intense 3D heli routines, but I enjoy the change in flying procedures from fixed wings with the different challenges rotor wings present. Let us know if you'd like to see more helis in the future. Well, Logan Paul and KSI came calling in the form of a prime plane confined area landing challenge. This bird is big, heavy, and lands quick. Like the P-47, it was time to give it a shot. We started from the north first.
Oh! Yeah! Jesus! Oh!
Now it was time to come over the trees from the south.
Ooh.
I am clear.
Oh!
Backside the power curve there.
Oh, firm!
She's heavy, folks.
Ouch. Bit firm there, but let's remember how heavy this bird is next time and try that again. It was fun to get the prime plane up again and energize the skies with electrolights while nearly taking out the treetops on approach. We're going to be retiring this plane here soon, so if anyone has any tips on the most spectacular way to retire it, definitely let us know. As stated earlier, we're always looking for ways to fly, or taxi, outside the box.
Something fell off.
I don't want to get it stuck because I'm not going to go get it.
Oh! Oh yeah! Holy crap!
What the hell?
Do you want some twisted?
Is that actually Twisted Tea?
Yeah, it is.
This massive sheet of ice looked more than welcoming when combined with our FMS Beaver V2. Up next, throwing our favorite airplane together with some DJI HD FPV. I had a blast throwing the camera setup in the canopy for a scale panel look through the goggles. Well, unfortunately, me being the dummy I am, forgot that the DJI video transmitters do tend to overheat without proper cooling, and since I mounted it in an enclosed canopy, it led the transmitter into a thermal cutoff. RIP. We're going to revisit this FPV project soon, mounted on our 1.5 meter E-flite Focke-Wulf 190 with the transmitter in the Airstream, and we'll try it again.
You actually want a spotter?
I'll point. Yeah, definitely do that. I don't like it that much.
You know, I'm not recording. You can say whatever.
Absolutely no situational awareness. Right. Wow, it's bumpy up there. Oh!
It's just the prime plane that fell over. It's fine.
The airframe will protect the only thing of value on that airplane.
Okay, I just lost video. You still see it? It just stopped. Image transmission stopped. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were here. Shit.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Carter, are you good enough to fly this?
I don't know.
Right now.
I'm actually going to land with flaps off because it
Yeah,
seems
I
to
would
roll like
just-
crazy because I'm wondering if one flap's not going down.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, we've
Broken.
yeah.
I
that's
remember
right.
that.
Oh my
This
god.
turbo failed.
Excellent.
Great work.
The pressure to be perfect in aviation is an attitude culturally that's been forced upon us with good intentions initially. Safety should be number one. However, sometimes us RC pilots should take a step back and realize that we're flying toy airplanes and that these are the exact type of airplanes that are okay to push the limits of because it improves us as pilot without risking our lives in the process. I mean, so long as you're not endangering someone else. If this video made you uncomfortable, be sure to give it a like. And if you'd like to be updated every time we upload a video that'll trigger people, maybe even hit subscribe. Happy landings and bounce one on for us. We'll catch you next week with a new upload.
No, you're fine.